All right, my Forex family, this is Sidney Guajardo, come to you live from San Antonio, Texas, and we are the Trading Places. Okay, let's see what's going on. Okay, let's look for some trades here. Look at euro dollar. We'll go to about 5 or 6 trade pairs. Well, this one was really let's take a look here. First thing we do, we go to the, let's go to the 480 minute just to verify. This didn't do it right. What did we? No, this is not right. Okay. So okay, so definitely we are looking at an uptrend here, right? If you take a look at this, this is some dangerous territory, okay? We are looking at near the top of where it's ever been. So even though it's going long, can it break here? Yes, it can. Let me look at the 1 day. Yeah, and this I mean, we'd have to really go back. So it's definitely an uptrend. We're coming to the top. So I would wait for this thing to come back down. It's done it before, okay? It came down here and it just went back and it just bounced. It went back up, but the euro dollar is doing fantastic. So, but even though you have 100 pips between here and there, you have a lot of support, or you have a lot of resistance here that can just bounce at any time. Doesn't mean it have to come up here. So let's go back to the 60. So do we have some space for it to go up? Yes, we do, but just be patient. Only take the best trades, okay? So we'll leave. I'm gonna just put here. I'd wait for it to get here, to go south. There's lots of room. To go north, but it's unpredictable. So I would kind of leave this one alone here. Now if it starts to retrace and come back down, this is something I would definitely look at. Lots of room to go north, but it's unpredictable, okay? But I'd be looking for it to go short, so just be aware of that. All right, let's go to USD yen, dollar yen. It was going short, it did retrace. Let me erase this. Let's open this thing up. Let's go to the 480. Okay, so this is the high point. This is the 6 hours. Let me see, and this is the low point right there. And this is where we left off, right there. So it looks like it kind of tested this line, it pierced it, came up here, and it hit some type of resistance and it's coming back down. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to continue down. It may just try to pierce it, get some equity here on some pending orders, and then start to move back up. So I would definitely wait. Now look, if you take a look at it this way, there's a lot of downward pressure. Okay, so let's kind of take a look at the 60 again. Okay, now that we know a big picture of it going down. So it's testing this line like it wants to go up, but look at this. It tested here, came back down. I didn't quite get up to there, it came back down. So I'd be looking for it to keep testing here and then to bounce. Okay, so I would look for some short signals here. And it looks like, see, it's giving you buy signals, but this resistance line is pretty strong. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, this one's a pretty tough one to take long, because it could bounce. If it bounces, boy, it's gonna go. Okay, so I'd definitely be look for short signals for it to come down. Okay, let's go over Euro JPY. That one's been running kind of short here too. It hit the top here, retraced, it came back down. It hit this line here, 125.740. And I was going to take that short this morning. I decided to wait. So if you look, it had hit the all-time high here, or it hit this high. It was there. It hadn't hit that point in a long time, and this is just on the 60. So if you go back to let's go back to the 480. Do you see how this is the high point? Let me erase this. So do you see how that's the high point? Usually when it hits a high point like that, an all-time high, it's going to bounce short, and it did. It did exactly what I thought it was going to do. It hasn't come down much, but this is also a 480-minute candle. So if you change this back to a 60, what you're looking for is it did come back down, and it looks a little different than the 480, but it's definitely moving the same way. It's definitely moving short, right? Okay, so let's put here, hold on. It's definitely moving short. Let me move this out of the way. Okay, so we ended up stopping, close of business today right there. There's a little candle right there. We're just kind of tested it and come back down. So usually you'll see that currency will kind of come back home. I usually say that you see how it kind of bounced here and then it came back, and then it finally came back home, came up here, came back home. It pierced this support line. Now it's coming back home. So to really find out what this currency is going to do, we need some volume. Right now the US session closed. The next big session is the Euro session, but you start to get a little movement in this currency somewhere around 11 o'clock tonight. So we really don't know what's going to happen. If this was King Solomon saying it's going to go north, but if it's going to go north, I would wait till you get to right around here before you even consider taking a trade. Now, if it pierces here, it's going to go north. So I would wait. Let's put a text message here. If you go north, or if you get a signal, you can't take all signals, because you know King Solomon doesn't know support or resistance, but we do, because we could see it. So if there is a long signal, make sure and take it after 126.045. Okay, so Forex has a mind of its own, but you see you have a little trend here with 3 signals. If it hits through here, it still has a chance of going up and then coming back to test it. Now, if it hits here and tests it, it's probably going to go. So just make sure and go. Make sure you put a stop loss, and I would put a stop loss for right around here, 126.900. Okay, in your MT4. But for some reason, this support line is really, really strong. On this side, it's resistance, but it hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. These two don't count because it went through it. 12, 13, 14, 15. I mean, it hit it a bunch of times. So it's going to respect this, and it's also going to respect this. So just euro dollar was going short today, and I took that trade, and I'm glad I got out of it because it retraced. So just be very, very careful. To me, when it passed this 125.920, as I took it here, and ended up getting it out here, and I'm glad I did because it ended up going north. I thought it was going to run, but Forex has a mind of its own, and look, it's on a downward pressure. It's been going down for the last week or so, okay? But we don't know if this is just retracing or kind of like pullback. This could be a serious downward trend. So just be aware of that when you get a signal tonight from King Solomon. Let's look at a few more. Okay, so we're looking at Aussie dollar. This is definitely, you can just look at it and it's going north. I took this trade today and did very well, okay? So what we're looking at here, let's erase this stuff here, and let's figure out where the highest port. Let's go to the 480 first before we figure anything out. Okay, so all right, this one's going to be a little tough. Let's erase this first. This is the high point. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Uh-oh. How's that? We okay? Can you hear me now? Yes. All right. Okay. So Aussie dollar is in a weird spot. Okay. We have, let me do this erase mode here. We're talking about this all-time high here. Well, I don't know about an all-time high, but in the recent history, as far as we go back, the currency has never been this high. Let's just verify that with the one-day chart, okay? Well, yeah, so if we even go back to the one-day chart, it still hasn't been this high in a long time. For going back February, I mean, that's a long time to go back in Forex. So let's go back to the 480 so we can get current. This is the highest point. Right here, within this same chart, you have the low point right there. Whoops. Now, typically, I always say, I mean, the Forex is so simple, it's very difficult, but we try to make it as very simple as possible. Whatever goes up must come down. So you do have a little space between here and here, but you're getting mighty close to, look at this here. You're right here could bounce, because that's a pretty good support line. So you're getting very close to that, or a resistance line. You're getting very close to that. When it bounces, it's going to bounce pretty hard to come back down. So this is where you can lose money, okay? So what I would do is I would just leave the Aussie dollar alone, okay? Let's go, and maybe not leave it alone, but I would definitely wait until it gets to where it starts bouncing and goes the opposite direction, okay? So this one went way out there and it came back down. And we got a sell signal from King Solomon right in this area here. So let me erase this part. And let's see where we left off today, right there. Okay? And we left off right there. And it's still being traded right now, but just in low volume, so it's not really moving. So what we want to do is, if you're looking at it like a kindergartner, this is going up. So why won't it continue to go up? Well, that only makes sense, right? But right here, this resistance line is preventing it from going up. You see how it bounced? So it may continue to bounce. Now, we never know what's going to happen. Now, look, I don't know if people are paying attention to my training here, but every time I tell you to every day before you trade, I want you to go to Forex Factory. Okay, look at the Aussie dollar. There's going to be a monetary policy minutes meeting, and this is where you never want to be in an Aussie trade or any trade, like a Canadian trade, US dollar trade, or any trade, Japanese yen, pound, or whatever, if there's a red folder. So here in about 2 hours, you're going to see something is going to happen. Let's see. Right now, there's nothing. More hawkish than expected is for good currency. 11 times for you. You don't need to know what this stuff means. You just need to know that it affects the way that trade is, that currency is traded. So I would stay away from Aussie dollar. This could be very good news. It could be not good news for the Aussies, but it could be good news for us. Because if this is bad news here, what is that currency going to do? It's going to go down. Well, let's go over here. So it may be in this area here, and all of a sudden you'll see, let me see if I can find okay, this is perfect example of what news looks like. All of a sudden it's 8:25 and then 8:30 something says, Sydney, Australia had 1,000 cases of COVID today. That's what, I'm just making up some news, but this is what typically can happen. Boom, just like right out of the blue. So tonight at 8:30, if you're in an Aussie trade and all of a sudden you just see that thing dip, get in it. Get in it, make some money, and get out, okay? That's what can happen. Or if it goes up, if it spikes up. But just beware that right here, 0.72455 is the highest it's ever been. So we're in an area that has a good support line and is just resting there. And it may be very slow till 8:30 tonight. But this is probably a good trade to look at to see how it's going to be affected. Now, some people say, it's kind of like conspiracy theory, how they say it, that some people say that the news is already built into the currency. Like they already know what the news is going to be. They shouldn't, but it doesn't affect the currency. But all that is just market manipulation. So what I would do is definitely, excuse me, had to yawn there. I would definitely wait and don't be in any kind of Aussie trade until that news comes out 8:30. Wait till after the news, but definitely look at what the Aussies are doing. Pound dollar. Let's take a look at that. Let's look, it's kind of in the middle, so let's look at trend. Let's look at which way it's trending. So I go to the 480 and let me look at this here. All right, so this is the highest it's ever been, right up here. Everybody knows how to do that. And then this is the lowest it's ever been. This is where you want to look, okay? And this is kind of where it finished off. And then you want to find out the direction it's going. It's going north, okay? So this is the direction it's going. It's going north in the short term because it just retraced, but it's also going short the long term. To verify long-term trend, you just go to the day chart. And is it going north? Yes, it's going north. It doesn't matter how you look at it, it is definitely going north. So let's go back to the 60 to figure out what we want to do. Not 60 days, 60 minute. Okay, so same thing here. Let's get rid of this 60 minute. Okay. This is where we ended up for the day, right there. It's kind of in consolidation. It's kind of going up and down. This is very scary because we don't know what's going to happen, but we do know that it has a very good possibility of it's going to go north. So you have a lot of support and resistance right here. So if you do get a signal, which you haven't gotten one yet, I would be looking for, and this is just a pure guess, but because there's no indication of what the thing's going to do because it's just kind of moving sideways. I would be look for long signal. And let me mark up an entry, and I would wait till, oops, and I would wait till probably about here to take it long, but be very aware that it could bounce anywhere between here and there. So if you take it long, have your finger on the X, because that thing could bounce and come back, okay? So if it goes short, you have a lot of real estate to run. But make sure and set your stop losses, because pound dollar can really move on you. But I really think it's going to go long. It went long today in this area here. All right, let's look at a couple more trades. Let's look at dollar Swiss and pound Swiss. All right, so let's look at the big chart here, the 480. And let's turn it up to, okay. All right, here we go. This is what I would be looking for. This is where you, I'm just going to call this the high point because you really can't see. I'm going to call this the high point right there. And I'm going to call this the low point. And look where we ended up. We ended up today's business. I'm going to leave this line here. It's very close to coming up here. Now this right here, could it create new lows? Yeah, of course it could create new lows. But let's see where we are on the 60. Okay, it's down here. It's already bounced, so I'd be looking for this thing. Does anybody would answer? I'll give you a hint. East, down and bound. Smoking the Bandit. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so this thing could probably pierce this resistance line and start to go north. Now, when do you get in it? Because it can go up and come down, up and down, up and down, just kind of like the way it does here. I would wait. Geez. Huh. I'd probably wait till right about here. That'd be a pretty dang good, right about there. That'd be a pretty good entrance. So for dollar Swiss, I would look at 90865 to take as an entrance to go north. It'd be a very good entrance right there. You see that support right there? It's got to break that and go north. It's what it's been doing. Break it, go north. Break it, go north. Or pierce it, or at least bounce off it, go north. So why wouldn't it do it here? It may go up and come back down, start a new candle and come up. But this right here, let's talk about stop loss. This would be a very good area right here to do a stop loss. Maybe even right here. So it's about 20 pip stop loss, but just trust me, the dollar Swiss, it probably wouldn't come back down that way. But it's gonna bounce. It bounced off of here. If it bounces, if it breaks here, look for 0.90865 as an entrance. Okay. Let's do one more. Pound Swiss. All right, interesting trade. Let's open this booger up and let's go to the 480. Let's check things out. All right, so where did we end up? Here's the high point. And here's the low point. Okay, and we're right in the middle. So let's go back to the 60. And it's kind of moving sideways. There was no trend, no agreement. But if you look at the 60, it does show that there's some movement going south. Now, this is a tough one here because it could retrace here. It looks like that it might hit right here and bounce and go short. Now, it's hard to tell. It's really hard to tell on this chart here, but you have a tremendous amount of pressure coming down. If you look at this versus the 480, it is coming down. And it just kind of retraced right here, and it came back up. So I would wait for some volume tonight. If you're just dead set on taking a pound Swiss, I would wait for some volume. Whoops. But it looks short. Just wait for signals. Okay. So, but you see this support line here is pretty dang powerful. Support, in this case, it's resistance, but it came here and it bounced. I mean, it did come back a little bit, but it just bounced, shot back up and came. This thing has just been testing this line so many times. So, but there's no real clue of what, it's like an equal, you know, it didn't really bounce and go south, but it could right here. It could very much well just bounce and go south, but it looks like it's gonna bounce and go back up. We'll see, pound. But anyway, you can also go to, there's another website here that I just discovered. It's called investing.com. And what it does is, if you go to portfolio, there's a lot of questions on here, or a lot of ads. Hold on, where does it say here? Okay, so you see right here it says euro dollar, and you can add some if you want, but like euro dollar, strong buy, strong buy, strong buy. So the euro dollar can continue to go up, but this is all just algorithmic type stuff. But you saw, well, at the very beginning I went over the euro dollar, and it's getting very close to the top of the convergence, which it looks like it's going to bounce. But look at pound dollar, neutral, neutral, buy, strong buy. So this is the kind of, I would stay away from this. Stay away from this one. So, and you can just add, you see all these how do you take this stupid thing off? Kind of, oh, here it is right here. So you can add your own portfolio. I have 28 trade pairs, but if it says strong buy, strong buy, strong buy on the daily, the hourly, the 15 and the 5, it's probably going to go north, unless you're at the top of the convergence, you know, at the top of the money street. So it may be a strong buy, but it could bounce. It could be a strong sell, like the Dow Jones. Look at that, it was a strong sell. But look how high it is, 27,884. This is like pre-corona numbers. Very, very good. So anyway, just a little, I would definitely start an account with investing.com and kind of play with it. I just stumbled across it, so it's pretty neat. So if what I do is just kind of narrow it down to a few trades I'm taking, and let's say I'm looking at the euro dollar, this right here will tell me that eventually, if it's going short now, that it's probably going to go long. So wait for it to go long and then go on the, you know, ride its coattails. But don't take it short when it says strong buy, because it's probably going to activate some type of trigger to go long, and then you're going to lose all your money. So anything you can do to help you get ahead, I would do it. But definitely Forex Factory and investing.com are something that you definitely want to have in your windows to look at. And then the factory, when you Forex Factory, all you do is go to it's the first page here. And it'll show you what's happening. Let me see. You see here, so like tomorrow, there's really no news. Here's one here, OPEC. That's going to be a big one all day. So Wednesday would probably be a day that I don't know if you want to trade or not. That's going to be pretty tough. So, but these are orange. These are kind of the non-farm employment. There's like factory stuff, manufacturing. As far as like what they've produced, what they're forecasted. So orange is okay. I mean, nothing like the red. Right here, boom, all these right here. This is probably not something you want to trade on Friday, the euros. So this is very, very important. But anyway, that's all I got for today. Let's look at some trades tomorrow. Same channel, same station, same everything, 6 o'clock tomorrow. And we'll be on. If you have any questions, just shoot me an email or go to the VIP and shoot me a question there, and I'll be more than glad to answer your question, or one of the guys on the staff as well. So from San Antonio and Trading Places, have a good night, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.